Hey guys, Fleet 22 here, coming in with another video of our track day at VIR Kart. As you can see here, we're towing with the good old Tobra. Just getting some nice beat footage here, drive through the country. Weather conditions were absolutely beautiful. Couldn't ask for any better weather. And we have the little 94 Benelli and the 2007, 7 KTM ECX 450 staring us in our face. Luckily, the drive went pretty well. Car did good, whole 9 yards. Didn't really have any issues except that the Benelli's fork seal exploded out and it dumped fork oil everywhere and obviously evacuated all the oil out of the fork. So yeah, that made riding a bit of a chore for it. But you see we're all geared up here, getting the bike off the stand. This isn't about the Benelli, this is about the KTM. You'll see in a few minutes that right now I'm getting the kickstand down, checking the tires, making sure everything's all good, backing her up, getting ready to get on track. I had some issues. That's the reason it's so hard for me to push right now. You see me like doing the old back and forth. Is that I put a 160 tire on it and it did not like that at all. I had an O-ring chain on it and that kind of came into contact with the side of the tire. So cheaply I tried my best to grind it with a flap wheel and try to clearance it. As you'll see, I'm really taking it easy into corner one, cold tires. I'm looking around, I'm like, what the freak? Like, no, this bike feels absolutely terrible. Bit of a head shake there, like, oh, we need to get back to the pits. Make sure we can survive this track day. Bit upsetting, because I was like, man, this might ruin my track day. The bike was just, skating everywhere. Really unstable. Chain was, I guess, catching on that ever little bit of tires. So I said, all right, heavy on the throttle. See if we can get some self-clearancing going on here. And we'll just make our way back to the pits. But that gives us a perfect time to actually talk about the bike. This too, you see freaking grab there. Try to give me a bit of a throw. This is a 2007 ECX 450. Just 450, non-R. 2007 was the first year model. They made these guys DOT road legal. So this came from the factory with the title, tail light, signals, whole 9 yards. I've had this bike for probably about 2 or 3 years. You see, I'm just giving it a little shakedown, making sure it's okay. It's good now, so now it's about to be party time. I had this bike for about 2 or 3 years. This is the first time I had on the supermoto track. I usually would run my KTM LC4 on the track. I never had I guess you would say, middleweight 450 on track. So it's actually the first time I've had this bike as well as a bike that doesn't weigh 1,000,000 pounds on this track. So the first few laps, we're just kind of getting a feel for it. Plus, we haven't been riding it for like, I don't know, freaking 2 years it's been since I've had a decent kart track day. But yeah, this bike, fairly, I'm gonna say moderately modified. We have the cheapy freaking $500 cast eBay wheels on that Supermoto eBay wheels. I will go off on a little side note on those. If you guys do buy those wheels, you see they're plenty good for just doing the Supermoto stuff. They open up the dirt section at the end of the day, which I wasn't about to take these cast wheels on dirt. If they were the spoke wheels, maybe get all in this dude's way, so I'm going to make room for him. His tires are hot, he's on slicks, let him pass. Those cast wheels, I was like, I don't really trust those on jumps. We come up short on something and it's about to be like freaking front flip city, dude. Like, we are not gonna make it out alive. So we just ran the asphalt circuit. That's fine by me. They did what they were supposed to. Only way they'll do what they're supposed to if immediately, as soon as you buy those wheels, you change out the wheel bearings. If you guys want, I can go ahead and make a video of that. I got part numbers, I got a type of wheel bearings. There's not much information on upgrading these wheels because the cast wheels themselves, they have to meet DOT standards. So as far as just for road use, they're fine. For racetrack use, they're fine-ish. Don't go crazy on curbs. Don't try to go curb hopping like you're some type of professional supermoto rider, because then you need a good flexible wheel, which is you have to go to an actual multi-spoke wire wheel. But as far as just what we're doing here, you know, there's no stress on them, but there is stress on the bearings. Just like the short I came out with on those cheap Amazon control arms I put on the Mustang, these cheap quality parts, the metal's not bad. The metal has a standard before it can be sold and put on vehicles, or else they're in, you know, violation with the National Highway Traffic Association or whatever here in America. So the metal's usually good. It's usually up to factory standards, if sometimes not a bit better. It's the lubrication. They never have any grease in them. Some of them have really poor lubrication properties. You can see I'm looking down at the bike because it's kind of down on power, but we'll get into that. You know, a lot of these things, they just need small upgrades. So instead of just changing out the grease in the bearings, I found a bearing that was a direct fit, Timken bearing, so off the shelf, high quality. Not gonna have any issues off of that. So yeah, the wheels did great, awesome. We're running a Dunlop Road Sport 2 on the rear in the 160, and a Dunlop Qualifier 2, Qualifier 3, I have no idea. We're running two different tires. The Qualifier I was on the rear was absolutely cooked. Like, this was literally a last minute, load the car up, 4 o'clock in the morning, let's head to Virginia type track day. The bike's not really set up for any of this. The last time I've ridden it was on dirt, excuse me. And then we just put the wheels up there and said, let's hard charge over to Virginia, do some supermoto. Oversized front rotor, also eBay. Into stock master cylinder, super smushy, but braking power is really good. The guy I bought it from, it did come with this Scott steering dampener, so that did help a bit on track. Let these guys by, don't want to keep holding one up. I'm just out there working on my lines this time. But this bike was an absolute basket case when I got it. The guy I bought it from, kind of a friend, acquaintance that, you know, knew that I was in the group, bought it off of him. The rear wheel locked up on him, which was the bearings again. So a local shop replaced those bearings with the same bearings, and the rear wheel kind of exploded on me. Watch the front on this. Oh my goodness, shattered the front, trying to chase people. You know, freaking the nervous laugh of I almost died here. So yeah, again, with the bike was not remotely set up for this. My front compression, the front rebound was way off. The rear suspension was way off. I just, like, as I was leaving, I swapped the rear shock out because they come out of these real easy for a, what would that be? The SX 450 rear shock. Same spring number though. I thought they were going to be different spring rates, but it has adjustable high speed, compression and rebound, as well as some different valving. So it's a little bit stiffer, but not really. I was hoping it was a stiffer spring rate. Anyway, I just need to buy a spring for this bike. But this bike is powered by a 447cc, I believe, single overhead cam RFS engine. If you're familiar with the older KTMs, that stands for Racing 4-stroke. These are the engines where you have to push the pin out of the timing chain whenever you go to do a top end. But you do top ends few and far between. The odometer, as you see, is not currently working. Whenever it does work, you give her a tap and it shows like 300 and some odd hours on this top end. The bike was a West Coast bike. Some gentleman raced it in some, I guess, hare scramble series before it made its way over here to the East Coast. My buddy got a hold of it, rode a living dog crap out of it, didn't change the oil, leaky water pump seal, water leaking into the oil, you know, just a whole freaking mess. Which is another thing we got to do a top end on this Ford, because when the bearings fail on the water pump on these, the shaft on the water pump is connected to the camshaft, and to repair that, you kind of want to go ahead and just replace the entire camshaft. Seen some guys get away with JB Weld, sand it down. Heard about some guys welding on it. Don't really think welding on a camshaft's a great idea. Clearance is starting to go out and now it's chewing up the head. So it would be a good time to just go ahead and put in a 450 cam, or SX 450 cam. Sorry, my freaking brain's like rotting. This video's took forever to make. But yeah, you see we're back out. Took about a 10-20 minute break. Changed camera position, and the reason I changed the camera position to this position specifically was because I wanted to work on clutch control. Every time I go to the track, I want to try out new things. So this time, as you know, this bike does come with a 6-speed transmission. Pretty slick transmission, I gotta give it to KTM. But it does not come with a slipper clutch. So 90% of the bikes that I've ridden on track have not had a slipper clutch. My Buell 1125 CR had a slipper clutch, but I never got a chance to take that bike on track. I did take it to the tail of the Dragon, which you can kind of exercise back and get in, but not really because your line choice is limited unless you want to cross the mustard. Plus, it's a public road, not a racetrack. But on this bike, one thing I've been working on, again, my LC4, no slipper clutch. So in supermoto land, I've always operated a clutch by hand when coming into a corner hot. Just give it a little bit of pull, just enough to pull those plates apart so the back end doesn't lock up. Drop down a couple gears and a little tap on the rear brake. Get some nice back end action. So that's what we're working on here. With this being the second session of the day, the bike was feeling really good. Again, those WP forks need a bit of adjustment, as well as the shock. The wheels did great. It's barking out of a GPR exhaust. It's pretty much really the only one you can find for the 06, 07s, 07, 08s. No, 08s is when they went to the different engine series. I think it's 06, 07. Yeah, that GPR exhaust, it makes good power. You take the silencer out of it and the spark arrestor and it's the loudest thing on the planet. It is like, what year Kawasaki was that? Like 2013, 2014, when it just like came from the factory with that ear-shattering exhaust. That's what this thing feels like, dude. Like, oh my gosh, it is so loud. But the jetting seemed pretty well spot on. This is a custom jetting setup. I use the, was it JD Racing clutch, or sorry, jet setup that I put in this thing, I think, but it ran to their specifications, sea level, clip height, blah blah blah. It just didn't run good. So I put the stock needle back in there, played with some jet sizes, and I got it to my specification where it runs well. Drilled air box, high flow air filter for whenever we're on road. Let's see. Unbreakable levers, that's about it. As you can see in the right hand corner of the frame, upper right hand corner, we have the stock CDI. That's the stock ECX CDI, so the power comes in very gradual, like a good enduro bike should. Power not coming in too abrupt to break traction, which makes it good for, you know, kind of entry level riders like me, entry level supermoto riders. But it also makes it a bit soft when you start getting a bit more aggressive, and add stickier tires. Oh, another thing, those wheels are cush drives, so you do have a bit of rubber dampening instead of just having like a laced up MX wheel where you just on asphalt beating the crap out of the transmission. You have a little bit of dampening, so that was one benefit to these wheels. Another benefit, them not shattering in half. Yeah, but this bike, this bike has been doing really, really well. It did start smoking toward the end. See a little clutch action there. There you go, keeping the bike nice and steady. We did start to get some smoke to the end, so I had to retire the day early. This bike has always smoked a bit, but I think this just finished it off. I think it's kind of a stack of, let's see, coming into the uphill and full throttle, and the bike just didn't pull as hard as it normally did. Like I was actually, I think, clicking into fourth when I normally was just holding third. So the power was starting to fall off, and I was like, okay, well, before I grenade this thing, let's just go ahead and go home and we'll pull the top end on it sometime, whatever. But it always smoked a little bit whenever I first got it. But between the water pump leaking, I'm assuming, you know, contaminating the oil with coolant or water or whatever, because it would externally leak, 2 seals on it, but I'm assuming it was also internally leaking when that bearing failed. So yeah, but with the lack of oil changes and the fact that it's just a bumper with like a million freaking miles on it, I'm not mad at this bike. This thing is doing really well. Especially for somebody like me. This was a race weekend. I don't have my race license with this organization, so unfortunately I wasn't able to race, but I wasn't going to be able to race anyway. Get it, dude. I wasn't going to be able to race anyway because, again, the bike was just not having it. They did have a novice class, which is what I would have entered in because, you know, I'm slow, so it would have made sense for me to keep my ego to a minimum and just kind of get out there and get my feet wet racing supermoto. But yeah, bike did all right. We'll say all right so far. I'm not mad at it one bit. We'll go ahead and get a top end on it. Fingers crossed I can just be a cheap piece of crap and just slam a piston in there versus, you know, sending the cylinder off for plating. But we'll see. Outside of that, you know, I'm checking the bike over. I'm giving it some revs. I'm like, yeah, this thing's pretty much toast. My buddy over there in the Ram 1500, he got a couple more sessions than me. But I'm like, dude, I'm about to load up. You're like an hour away from here, and I'm like 3, so I'm about to load up and get out of here. But this has been the Fleet 22. I appreciate you guys sticking around with me this long. If you have, if you guys want some more like just unedited, no commentary footage, let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. I'll start uploading just the silent track days to the channel, or otherwise we're just going to kind of stick with this format. Alright guys, definitely do appreciate it, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.